All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. You guys are going to be following along in your notes with me as we work through these next two pages. So, go to the page that says, "Can we be real for a second?" It says, "How can we find all solutions to a polynomial? With the fundamental theorem of algebra, we know a polynomial has as many roots as its highest degree. What happens when some of those roots don't show up on a graph?" So number one says graph x squared plus 4. That means we have a quadratic shifted up 4. So it's going to be 0, 4, and then we draw our quadratic. All right, and then it says, how many roots does this quadratic equation have according to the fundamental theorem of algebra, which we just read? It has as many roots as its highest degree. So our highest degree is 2, so we should have 2 roots. But part B says, when we look at the graph, how many roots does it have? Well, it's not intersecting the x-axis at all, so it looks like it has 0 roots, but that is not true. So we're going to figure out how many roots it has and what the roots are. So we're going to solve for that zeros algebraically. We're going to take x squared plus 4, set it equal to 0, and then we can subtract 4 from each side. We get x squared equals negative 4, and then to get x by itself, we can take the square root, but we're up until this point in our class, we've said that you couldn't take the square root of a negative number. So number 2 says, in the complex math world, the square root of negative 1 is equal to I, an imaginary number. We can continue solving by rewriting plus or minus root negative 4 as plus or minus root negative 1 times root 4, and then finish solving for 0. So if we take our plus or minus root negative 4 and say, okay, that's actually plus or minus negative root negative 1 times root 4, then now this guy is I, and our answer is going to be plus or minus 2i, because square root of 4 is 2, so 2i is our answer. Now it says find the zeros of f of x using any strategy. Any strategy, two of the strategies that you guys can use are completing the square, and you can also use the quadratic formula. I'm going to use the quadratic formula just because I know we've been completing the square a lot, and you might have forgotten the quadratic formula. So if you can complete the square, you would get the same answer as this. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So my b value is 2. So when it says negative b, I'm going to have negative 2 plus or minus 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times c is 5, all over 2. Okay, this simplifies to 2 squared is 4 minus 20 all over 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1 plus or minus root 16, negative 16 divided by 2. Square root of 16 is 4, so square root of negative 16 is 4i. So this becomes negative 1 plus or minus 4i over 2, and 4i over 2 is just 2i. Now, this is actually two answers. We have x equals negative 1 plus 2i, and x equals negative 1 minus 2i. These are called conjugate pairs, and we will look at the definition on the next page, but basically when you have the same complex number, but the only difference is the sign, here we have plus and minus, then you have a conjugate pair. Okay. Now it wants us to write it in factored form. Remember, factored form is just x minus your root times x minus your root. So we're going to take our roots, which are here and here, and plug that in to these roots. Okay, so we're going to do x minus -1 plus 2i times x minus -1 minus 2i. And let's clean it up a little bit. Let's distribute the negatives. So I would get x plus 1 minus 2i times x plus 1 plus 2i. And that is my factored form. Okay, and then number 5 says, can you predict what answer you'll get when you multiply those factors? Oops. So we have x1 negative 2i, x1 positive 2i, and multiply everything out. So x times x, x squared, and then we have 1 times x, 2i times x, x times 1, 1 times 1, 2i times 1, negative 2i times x, negative 2i times 1, and negative 4i squared. Okay, let's add our like terms, because we have like terms that are kind of like diagonal from each other. So we have 2i and negative 2i actually add to 0. Same with 2ix and negative 2ix add to 0. So we're left with x squared plus 2x's, so 2x, plus 1 minus 4i squared. Now, we know I is equal to square root of -1. So what is I squared? That's going to be root -1 times root -1. Or, in other words, root -1 squared, and the square and the root kind of like undo each other. So we actually, I squared is equal to -1. So when we want to come simplify this is actually just a -1 right here. Which means this guy is a positive 4. Whoops. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. So our total, our final answer is x squared plus 2x plus 5. Now, that is actually what we started with back up here. We took x squared plus 2x plus 5. We factored it into these factors. And then we took those factors and multiplied them out to get our original. Okay. Number 6, could a quadratic function have one real and one imaginary? Explain why or why not. The answer is no, because when we're working with square roots, we're always going to get a plus or minus answer. So up here, when we take the square root of -16, we're going to get something like plus or minus, which means we have 2 answers, or 2 roots. So we're going to say no when solving with a square root. You get 2 answers plus or minus. Okay. Make sure you have these notes and then go to the next page. And we're going to write down the fundamental theorem of algebra. as a polynomial has as many roots as its highest degree. Another definition is complex numbers. So complex number is when you have a plus bi, where a and b are real numbers. And I is imaginary. Oh, and the fundamental of theorem of algebra up here, as many roots, it can be imaginary and real. So you can have a mix. You can have some imaginary, some real. But always, at least, like the imaginary roots come in pairs. Oh, but an example of a complex number is like 2 plus 3i. Or its conjugate pair would be 2 minus 3i. One thing to notice is that a and b just have to be real numbers. So you could actually have like 5, which is a real number, plus 0i. 0 is our b value. It is a real number, but it just means we have 0 i's in this case. So our answer would be 5. But technically 5 is like any real numbers are part of the complex numbers. Anyway, just something to note. All right, and then we're going to talk about our conjugate pairs. So because we get I by solving with a square root, a complex solution always has a conjugate pair. So that means if a plus bi is a root, so is a minus bi. Okay, and then one last thing, we're going to talk about the pattern of I. So there's pattern. I is like square root of -1, which is equal to I squared, we said, was square root of -1 times square root of -1, which would just be -1. I cubed would be like I squared times I, which would be -1 times I. So this would be -I. And then I to the 4th is I squared times I squared, which would just be -1 times -1, which is +1. So the pattern goes in groups of 4 like this. So you would start over with I to the 5th would be I to the 6th would be -1, I to the 7th would be -I to the 8th, 1. And so on. This pattern goes on forever. Now, let's say I wanted to find I to the 35th. You could count it out all the way to 35, but an easier way to do it is like, we know we have groups of 4, so just like count how many groups of 4 there are. So do 35 divided by 4, and we get 8.75. That means we have 8 groups of 4, and then 3/4 of the next group, like 75% of the next group. So one thing you can kind of think about is that this I is the first of 4, so that's like 25%. I squared is the second out of your group of 4, or 2 out of 4, which is 50. I cubed is your third one out of the group of 4, so 0.75. And then your fourth one is your 4 out of 4, so it's like 1. So if you have leftover of 75, that means you did 1, 2, 3, then this third group of the pattern. So I to the 35 would be negative I. Similarly, try doing I to the 242nd. You can pause this video, but I'm going to show you right now. You do 242 divided by 4. And you get 60.5. So that means you have 60 groups of 4, and then you're halfway through the next group. So halfway through would be I squared, which is negative 1. Okay, make sure you have this, and then work on check understanding. You can check your answers with my answer key online, and then work on Delta Math for homework. Thank you guys, and have a great weekend. See you Monday.